Well, welcome back, and this is a special edition of Focus Today. Look at this motley crew that I have.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
Today is a special day. We're going to take a few moments and share with you that tomorrow, November 1st, the Dove Radio will be 65 years old. That's quite a milestone. Mm-hmm. And so we have Polina. She came to the Dove on radio. Mm-hmm. Jerry came to the Dove on radio. And Steve came to the Dove on radio.
That's right.
And they all started with radio, and they ended up radio and TV at the end. They all have their stories, and they're all true.
Well, and you came here when we were on radio. We're going to share that story. But can you tell us a little bit about the Dove before you and Peggy took over?
Okay, just try to give you a little bit of brief history. It signed on November 1st, 1960 as KRVC. And that was Rogue Valley Christian, those what those call letters stood for. And it was a 1,000-watt radio station. And it operated for a while. A church owned it. And then somewhere a couple of years later, another station came on the air, another Christian station came on the air in Medford, and it was KDOV. And they got the call signs at KDOV. But that station didn't make it. It went off the air. And the owner of KRVC dropped those call letters and got KDOV and grabbed them, which was really a smart thing to do, and operated the station. It was an interesting format. It was all over the place, and the studio and the transmitter, if you can imagine this, were in the same room. And you had to hover over the microphone, open up the microphone, say something, and then turn it off because the transmitter was literally right over here. And so, and that's what we bought in 1983. I look back on that, I go, oh my stars, how stupid were we?
But hold on.
That's what happened.
So you were in California, and you heard that there was a station. Back then there was no internet. How do you know there was a station for sale?
Okay, so I was flying for the radio and television station down there, and I had all that experience. And I was also was a business manager at the church, trying to help the church stay out of bankruptcy, which was a big deal. And our family has a cabin in Northern California. We'd come up here a lot to vacation, and Peggy's aunt and uncle lived in Medford, and we'd come here and visit them. And I'd tune in the radio stations, and I heard KDOV.
Okay.
And so I literally went to the pastor one day, drove up just cold, knocked on the door of the church, and got to talk to this guy, and he said, you want to see it? And I said, yeah, and I went in there, I go, oh my stars, look at this. And so you had the transmitter and the studio in one room, and out the window was the tower. So you're under this RF and all the stuff that you're not supposed to do. And we were there. And I asked him, I said, you want to sell it? He goes, yes. And it was 2 years later that we made the deal.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
The wheels begin rolling.
Yeah.
Well, and we do have a small, tiny little clip of you and Jerry talking about those years and where you and Peggy bought it. So here it is.
I was 36 years old, and my wife and I decided to sell our house and buy a daytime radio station. And we moved to Southern Oregon, our young family. We came to Southern Oregon. So I had to go out at early in the morning at sunrise, turn the station on at the transmitter site, run back into the studio, go on the air for a couple of hours, program the station during the day, and then at sunset go back out and turn the radio station off. That's how we started. And we did that for about 1.5 years till we were able to get a license to stay on the air 24 hours a day. After that was a huge move forward, but we were still a 1,000-watt radio station. Then eventually we got another frequency and another power increase. We went from 1,000 watts to 20,000 watts AM. And then down the road, which is so interesting, a pastor here in Southern Oregon, Pastor Croy, came to me and said that somebody in his church had a low-power FM license. They didn't know what to do with it. Would we want it? So I looked into it and come to find out that we were able to take that low-power FM station from 3 watts to a 26,000 watt FM radio station, and that's what we are today.
I have been at the Dove for 23 years, but actually 24, because I started on the Dove with a little syndicated worship program that I did for about a year before I was asked to come on the air. So 23 years on the Dove itself as far as working for the Dove, and 24 years total. My, how time flies. I started in radio because I was a worship musician. When I came in as a fill-in for the current afternoon DJ, I had no clue what the equipment did or how it worked or anything like that, because I was producing a program on the computer. I got my feet wet doing the afternoon show on KDOVE Radio, and Perry had patience and stuck with me.
I saw an opportunity to take the news and combine it with a Christian format. In listening to Christian media and radio, I thought, well, why should those people leave that radio station to go somewhere else to get informed, to get the weather and get the news, and then hopefully they'd come back during the day. So we created the format where we do a live 3-hour morning news talk inspirational show. It's a model that we've stuck with all these years and made us competitive in the marketplace with all the other stations out there. A lot of non-believers listen and watch the Dove because we're able to take the news and the inspiration and put it together in a way that they can enjoy it and feel safe with it. I didn't know at the time that we were creating a new model, but I felt in my heart it was the right thing to do, to create an encompassing media force that anybody could listen to and not only get current information, but be inspired and given hope. Well, that was it.
What a concept.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
24 years for you?
24 total.
In 18, and then Steve came, and that was an interesting time.
Giving birth.
Yeah, it was. It was a long labor. No.
We gave birth to Steve.
Well, how long did it take to acquire him?
Well, it's a long story, and I won't get into the details of it, but we ended up joining Family Life Radio for a period of time, and I went down, and I was still manager of the
All
Dove.
you need.
And I eventually became vice president down there, but anyway, working with Steve and a bunch of great people down there. But there came a time where one of those moments where the Lord clearly spoke to me and that we would bring the station ownership back to Oregon, and we did. And I'm in the middle of this and meeting with people, and I told Peggy, I said, there's only one person from FLR I ever want to get, would be Steve Johnson. And
The story gets better every year.
well, no, it does. That's a true story. And so, and then I don't think it was, and during all that transition, the company we were coming from and creating a new one wouldn't renew the lease of the building we were in. They wouldn't let us do that. And I go, come on, guys, just sign this over. We were in the middle of a sale and they wouldn't do it. Kind of a nasty move. So we're out scrambling around, and I'm looking for a place to move the station to in the dark. And we finally get into this place. Remember, guys, there was wires running on the floor and all that? It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call with Steve Johnson. Hey, you got any openings up there? Yeah, you're on the air Monday morning at 6. And you came up and you were here
Well,
18
you know,
minutes.
and tying those two together, I remember I was doing the morning show on a station in Tucson, and Perry would come down several times a month, at least twice a month. Plus, he's running the station here, and he's coming down there to be vice president of broadcast of several stations. So it was like I think your first stop would be into KFLT's studio, and hey Perry, how you doing? You know, welcome back. How long are you going to be here? Well, you know, a day or two, and then he's got to go back to his other job. You know, that type of thing. But I do remember when I came to Medford, and you had talked about you had one weekend to take the station and the wiring and everything and get it all functional in another location. I mean, you drove like what, trucks with
We did.
control boards and wiring. I'm amazed that you got the station on the air that fast. That was within a day or two, really, from one location to another. That's almost an impossibility.
We should have Russ jump on the air with us. He was the engineer through all of that, and he's been our field engineer all these years, 42 years. And I thought we were going to lose him because it was a big deal.
That's a
We
job.
literally pulled out the wires came over to this new place. The only thing we had was, at that time, was a microwave and a phone connection to get back on the air. And we plugged everything in. We had wires all over the floor, and we got back on the air.
Wow.
So it worked. So,
Checking Steve's mic.
oh, there he is.
Hi.
Yeah,
So-
but would you have, you guys, when we were going through those videos, we had some pictures popped up and you were telling me who is who. So we have some pictures.
stop right
Who's
there.
here?
So that's Sue and
Sue in the
Pat
front.
Daly.
Uh-huh. And then what else? Who else?
There's the Sue, and there's Peggy.
Is that Rod Robertson?
I don't know
Steve?
that
I
person.
don't know.
I don't know that person.
Going back to the annals of my gray matter, I
Okay.
remember that. I think
Well-
I see Peggy in the back
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
That's Dave Kersey.
Oh my word! Wow. Okay.
Which building is that?
This is in Medford, but this
Yeah.
is when we were part of FLR, and
Yeah.
they would come in. Oh gosh! And I have to tell you, we do these 3 and 4 and 5 day share-a-thons.
Yep.
Well,
There's a story about that. So-
Okay.
That's Dave Kersey, huh?
Yeah.
So that's the face behind the voice. I know
Yeah.
the voice.
Yeah.
All right.
And there
so-
you are, Perry. Right?
Yeah, we were on the air. These were during some fundraising times, you know, to stay on the air. This room was really tiny. And
yeah.
That was another move we had to get into, and all of our equipment literally was in a closet.
I know. It was amazing how everything got in.
It
there.
worked.
Yeah.
Just some more shots of being on the air. So it was a really
did you,
kind of a
did
nice
you
video.
always wear a tie when you were on radio?
Well, at FLR, it was kind of a deal until I became
Yeah.
vice president and got rid of ties.
We all look like missionaries.
Yeah, I came in right at the
You never
perfect time. It was
Yeah.
at the transition. I never wore a tie.
I know.
Yeah,
So when I became vice president, I did away with ties.
Yeah.
What's she
did.
doing? That's Sue behind the
And
mic. What's she doing?
Sue actually would go in and do breaks.
What?
Sue did everything. I mean, it's true.
And we actually, and that was an old, look how old that computer is.
Yes.
Okay, and the logs, and Peggy and the girls were doing logs, and we were trying to transition from manual logs to computers, you know. And this was right at the beginning of flat screens, and the company, FLR, wouldn't let us have flat screens. We had to have those dumb, stupid.
That's
They were
Remember
like,
that, Steve?
you guys were running Enco then.
Yeah.
That's the operating system.
and they were like
Yeah.
boat anchors, those monitors. They
Oh
were
man.
ridiculous.
Oh.
And so what are we looking at here? There's Sue.
Okay,
Is that her kid?
that's when we were above the bank. Okay, and I remember building that wall. Those actually had some old Ampex turntables in them, or reel-to-reels in them.
Okay, and who's that
That
guy?
is John. What's John's last name? I'll think of it here in a minute.
Okay,
And Newman, John Newman.
okay.
Oh, okay.
And he was kind of like a part-time announcer, engineer guy, and that's Sue, and I think that's Jackie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
amazing. Yeah.
I love this picture of you. Look at you. It's like you're posing for Times Magazine.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
well, I don't know. I was running the world there.
You look like it in your red tie.
Yeah.
It's a power tie, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And who's this?
that's Dave Kersey.
Okay.
So what would happen during that time of the Dove season? We would do these share-a-thons. Oh gosh, we had to put in phone banks and do all, and that's how we did it. I mean, that's how we had our income. And they didn't like commercials. That company didn't like commercials, and I was into it, and they weren't.
Oh.
And so, and when we did commercials, we had to do business sponsor type things.
Yes.
And so, anyway, it was a little bit of a tug of war, and we got through that. But I'll never forget this one of those other moments that we were getting ready to do a share-a-thon at the old place in. Was it Sage? No, we were on Disk Drive. We moved it station 8 times.
Wow. That's amazing.
I said, I was praying one morning. I said, Lord, I'm so tired of doing this. I just don't like doing this. And I'll never forget the Lord said, are you going to trust me? And we have never done a share-a-thon since.
How about that?
Where we went on the air
Yeah.
for 5 days and put in a phone bank and phone. We stopped doing that. We just trust the Lord, and our viewers and listeners are taking care of us.
Well, and I've said it many times, but I am amazed at the support, how people understand what is needed to keep it on the air, to share the gospel.
Yeah.
And you've got stories about people being saved that never really reached the air by happening to listen to like a neighbor who listens to the Dove.
Yeah.
They were not Christians. They went home, started listening to Dove, and
Became Christians.
became believers. Yeah.
And one other quick story, we take a break, and this Drew, this was in, this would have been 2008, somewhere 2008, 2009. We had, I'd always tried to get a television license. I couldn't do it. Everything, all the doors closed. And one day, out of the blue, seriously, honestly, I get a call from a guy in Grants Pass, and he said, and he used to work for TVN. And he said, the Lord spoke to me this morning. I have a television license for Medford, and you are to buy it from me. I go, oh, really? And so he came over, and I met him. We talked, and we made a deal. I mean, I didn't have 10 cents. I just agreed to pay all this money every month. And we bought this license, but we had to be on the air with it like in 3 months. We didn't know anything. So make a long story short, we got the television, we programmed the computer, we hung an antenna up on the radio tower, we put the television station on the air for 48 hours, and there was a deal in the FCC rules where you could put it on and take it off. We put it on, saved the license, took it off, went to our radio audience and said we have a chance to build a television station, and the radio audience gave us the money over the course of 1 year before they ever saw the Dove TV to build the station.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember that, Steve?
Oh, I do. It's
Boy,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and have a few more stories for you. Welcome back. A little bit of a celebration of the Dove Radio. Tomorrow, the Dove Radio will be 65 years old. We've had the Dove for the last since 1983, so it's 42 years old, and from our perspective. But 65 years, it's one of the oldest stations out there. And you know what's interesting about that? When we went on the air, and Peggy and I took it over in '83. I got to know a few people in the Christian programming era, and we were one of the few stations to first carry Chuck Swindoll, Charles Stanley, and James Dobson.
How did you get
and
them?
J. Vernon McGee. Those were the ones that we started.
How did you get them?
Well, there was Steve knows this. There was a company called Ambassador Advertising Agencies. They're still in Southern Cal. And the original founder of that, they had a home up in Bend at Sun River. So they would spend their summers up there and down there. I got to know them really, really well. And I called them and I said, we're putting the station on. Can we become affiliate? Boom, 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 boom. And it just happened like that. Right. And in those days, they would send you tapes. And you were at the mercy of the mail showing up with boxes of tapes, and then you had to put the tapes on the air.
Right.
And then you had to we had somebody dedicated to taking the tapes and mailing them back, and when they mailed them back, then you'd get more. I mean, it was a regular shipping operation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, was this cassette tapes?
Reel to reel.
Reel to reel.
Yeah.
Oh my
16-inch.
Wow.
Wow.
But then, when did the morning show come about, the radio morning show? Was it from the get-go, or did you start doing it later?
It was kind of at the get-go. Didn't have much of news. I really didn't do the news I really wanted to do until Steve came. Now, Jerry was there, and we did a little of everything. We did music, we did a little talk, we did interviews. You came, and then you came a little bit later. And Scott Simpson and a few other weirdos.
I'm glad I'm here today.
But I always wanted to do more, and then Steve came, because I had a hard time trying to talk the people down in Tucson to do this, and they were kind of not into it and all that. But we did talk. I did a talk show called Talk in the Valley, and I did a lot of talk shows in the afternoon. Did it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a long time, and then we got to do the morning news, and here come the news guy.
Well, to be frank about it all, there are very few stations that combined what you were doing with Christian programming and news, and they still aren't doing it.
No.
You know, I mean, this is still a unique thing. You have maybe CBN that does news. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But to have guests on and to do the kind of the morning show type of a thing with weather and stocks and all that kind of thing, some cable stations are kind of doing that, but to have the Christian message along with that, it just still isn't happening. I mean, you really formulated something unique that people get used to, but you're going to have a hard time finding that in other markets, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
And now so much of radio has gone automated, you don't even maybe even have a person during the morning show actually there, you know.
Well, just to let people know, the morning show from 6 to 9, and we converted Jerry into becoming a morning person.
That's right.
How you doing?
Yeah, I used to be a morning person, but my mornings were associated with, you know, fish.
Yeah.
Different kind of mornings.
Yeah, but
So I'm just curious, I don't remember, how long did you do the afternoon show, Jerry?
oh gosh, up until I did the afternoon show until
Until you
March
left.
until March 21st.
Oh, yeah.
When I broke my leg.
Oh, yeah. But I'm thinking with Perry just doing the morning show and you doing the afternoon show,
yeah.
that was for
That was-
years, right?
Well, but the
23
morning,
years, 23.
before the morning show became a very popular TV show, it was on radio for years.
Yeah.
And we do
Yeah.
have a promo, I think it's 2011 maybe, but here it is, just a few seconds.
All you need to start your day is heard on the Dove Radio weekday mornings. News from Oregon and around the world during your morning commute.
Oregon is on the receiving end of $38 million a year for 3 years, and that's to weatherize low-income housing.
We've got the latest sports from around the globe and in our own backyard.
The Crusaders and Chiloquin are now tied for first in the conference standings.
Along with Perry Atkinson and Bob Just to put it all in perspective.
Well, Bob, it's obvious a shift has been made in America.
Well, I'll tell you, Perry, for real, we could have political revival going on. And I'll tell you, there's a good reason for it.
Join us every morning for the news you need to know on the Dove Radio.
You know, today you had Billy Graham, and you said how it's timeless. It's like you and Bob Just. We could just plucked you out of there and put you today. You know, Perry, political revival is going on.
He said that all that. He's still saying that.
Yes.
Still happening.
Well,
Yeah.
just so people know, today, as an example, 6 to 9, we're live on 22 television stations, 14 radio outlets, 5 cable outlets, Roku, Apple TV, and live streaming, all at the same time.
Wow.
And people hear that, and even people in the industry say, well, how do you guys do that? And I said, I really don't know how we do, but we do it. And so that's unique. And then in the future, just so people know, radio and television, there's some things sitting on our doorstep that could just catapult us into reaching literally hundreds of thousands of more people.
Wow.
Glory to God. But you know what? No matter how big you are, you never forget about our ministries, our local, your support. I mean, it's just amazing, like Steve, you were saying, what the Dove is able to do and the support that we get is, you know, evident.
Well, one other quick thing, because we're going to run out of time. I remember Polina coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And I got this call from her priest, and I got to know him before I met her. And she said, well, I got this cute young little girl coming to us, a young lady, and she was burned up in media, but would you talk to her? She came in, and you had your heavy little accent there, and you come in and sit down. You had an afro, remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
I said, what can you do? Everything. We hired her.
And
Well, you got to hire somebody who does everything.
Well, that was the resume. Everything.
Oh, was I right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, but today is about the radio, and it's going to be 65 years old tomorrow. And what did you say it qualifies for?
It qualifies for Medicare tomorrow. Wow. There's a perspective.
Yeah, there's a perspective.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Thank you, you guys. You've been around for a long time. We wouldn't be where we are if you guys didn't become a part of it. You could have had careers in other places, but the Lord called you here, and I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you.
It's been a great
Thank you.
trip, that's
Yeah.
for sure. And it's
has
great to
been.
be here for the unveiling, the next
Well,
phase.
yeah, and there's some things coming on radio that we're working on that are going to
Excellent.
be cool too. So, anyway, it never ends. So,
Never
thank you
ends.
for believing in
Yeah.
our mission and praying for us and supporting us. We could never, ever do this without your support. And I just want to say on behalf of all of us, thank you. And if you're in town sometime, give us a call, make an appointment, come on in and take a look and see what's going on here. So,
Yeah.
all right, thanks you guys.